I would say, yeah, this movie, you could tell that the actors are having fun in this movie. And if you're a horror fan, like, you're going to enjoy it in general.
How you gonna write this one up, deputy? Domestic dispute?
What's up, YouTube? Driveby Movies here, and you're watching
Fresh releases.
My name is James.
My name's Blaze.
And today we're checking out the recent film that's been on Shudder, Jakob's Wife.
That looks heavy.
I want to make my own decisions from now on.
You ever see something you couldn't explain, Sheriff?
You don't know how to fight for me because you've never done it.
Give me the strength to save her soul!
We need to finish this.
Jakob's Wife is the story of Anne, who's married to a small-town minister that feels her life has been shrinking over the past 30 years. Encountering the Master, and I'm not talking about Paul Thomas Anderson's film, brings her a new sense of power and an appetite to live bolder. However, the change comes with a heavy body count. So this film is a Shudder original. I think this kind of piggies back off of us watching a Travis Stevens film earlier this year, Wounded Fawn. Now we're kind of interested, what else does Travis Stevens have to offer? So we wanted to check out Jakob's Wife, which stars, of course, Larry Fessenden and Barbara Crampton, two horror icons. James, what'd you think of this film?
Well, they're basically mom and dad. They are the best perfect couple. Like, they're just in so many great indie horror films, and just seeing them together as a couple in this movie, because seen them in Your Next, we've seen them in We're Still Here, but them as a couple is just like the perfect relationship, in my opinion. Not so much when you actually watch the movie, though. But yeah, this is a really fun movie, and yeah, we checked it out because of Wounded Fawn, I think, is one of the better horror films to come out more recently and stuff that Shudder's put out. And yeah, I wanted to check this out. This is also a Shudder exclusive movie. And yeah, I was very impressed with this movie. Not so much as I was with A Wounded Fawn, but seeing this as a previous work, though, like, I definitely see the talent that this director has. I still want to see his other two movies that we still need to check out. I know one of them is like a pretty popular movie with, I think, CM Punk, if I'm not mistaken, the wrestler. The name on that movie is blanking out on me, but
Girl on the Third Floor.
Girl on the Third Floor. Thank you for bringing that up. But yes, that's the one. And so yeah, Travis Stevens, I think, is a great director that I'd love to see more work from him, because this movie is fun. Barbara Crampton gives it brings in a really fun performance. She's great as always. And yeah, what are your initial thoughts?
I would say, yeah, this movie, you could tell that the actors are having fun in this movie. And if you're a horror fan, like, you're going to enjoy it in general. I do feel like maybe if you're coming into this not knowing these actors, not knowing, you know, the other films that they've been in, kind of their history, maybe this film might not click for you. I do think that this film has a lot of fun elements, which I think anyone could get into, but I do feel like it might be slighted on the fact that it does feel a little bit at times like a Shudder original, and like a throwback in a sense to the fans of Shudder, that maybe this might not click for just a regular audience viewer. And, you know, this film has a lot of really fun moments that would probably play really well in a theater, but being that it's on Shudder, you're only going to just be watching it with you and maybe some friends. Some of those moments might not play if you're watching it by yourself.
Right, yeah, and that's, I think, where this movie shines most, because overall it's played very straight and very normal, where it's just like comes off like as a very dark, brooding horror film. But when it comes to the gore elements of the movie, it goes all out in a more ridiculous manner, to where it's very comical. So I really like that aspect of tone, of just it having a serious tone overall and being a serious story. Like, there are some comedic moments here and there, but just like most of those comedic moments come from the very over the top and very gross gore moments. And I was dying laughing whenever those came up and stuff. I love seeing the great splatter effects, and seeing the vampire tale like this also, because I didn't know this movie was about vampires. I don't know what I kind of expected going into this movie, but I wasn't expecting like a Nosferatu kind of vampire tale within this movie, or like, I'm just saying as in terms of like the creature effects within this movie, because those are actually really well done. Great practical stuff in this movie. I don't really recall a whole lot of CGI being used, and yeah, they utilize a lot of great gore effects within this.
It did remind me, what was the show that we watched on Netflix recently, but came out a while ago that I think we both loved? It's about, you know, a vampire, and I forget the name of the show. I don't know why it's crossing my mind, because it's honestly been some of the best TV I've seen in years.
A TV show about vampires.
It's Mike Flanagan, limited series.
Oh right, yeah, Midnight Mass, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it did kind of remind me of elements, especially of that. Honestly, that's like, I'll just say here, that's probably one of the best TV shows I've seen in a long time. I mean, especially since probably Twin Peaks: The Return. But I think out of those two shows, like, probably been the best I've seen in easily the past decade. So, I mean, it helps that they're both somewhat limited series in a way.
Yeah.
Their Return, I guess you could still call limited series, even though it's season 3 in a way.
Yeah. No, vampires, like, vampires I always thought were like kind of a genre, like, or storyline of a creature where it didn't really necessarily work for me. Like, I never really got into, I love the Universal monster movies. I have a bunch of them tattooed on me, but the one I never got into was Dracula, like one of the most famous ones and stuff. And just most vampire movies I just never really enjoyed as a kid. But now that we started this channel, we've watched a lot of vampire movies, and I'm slowly realizing that I've just been watching the wrong ones. Near Dark, fantastic movie. I don't think we reviewed that, but we've talked about it multiple times. Watched it more recently. Movies that we have reviewed, though, The Hunger, and even the new Netflix one with Jamie Foxx. I really enjoyed it. Daybreakers, I believe that movie was called. And
Day Shift. But you also like Daybreakers as well.
Yeah, so, you and I personally were just talking about that movie literally like an hour ago, so funny enough. But yeah, some great vampire movies out there, but Day Shift was the one I was talking about. But just, it took a while for me to realize that it is actually a fun genre. Just, you know, when you think vampires, I guess most people think of Twilight, and that's enjoyable in its own different right, I guess you can say. But just horror-wise, I just never found the genre I liked. And it's nice to know that there's comedic tones like Day Shift, and then movies that balance it very well, like a movie like Jakob's Wife, and then the more gothic atmospheric ones like Near Dark and From Dusk Till Dawn, and as I said, The Hunger.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that this film, it's so fun in a way to see these two kind of horror icons play, you know, like, I don't know, they just have, like, their relationship is very fun. You know, you have this minister played by Larry Fessenden, and Barbara Crampton's kind of like his wife who's just getting bored of this relationship. You have this little fun dichotomy of their relationship there that, you know, works out where now, you know, after, you know, she's gotten infected, you still have the fact that, you know, she was kind of like basically trying to explore other options while they're still in a relationship. So it just has like a fun element to it that I really enjoyed. And I thought this film was just a ton of fun.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not that like I can ever see this getting a sequel, but just like the final image of the movie, like, you know, you are begging for more and kind of want to see where it goes, but it still ends on a perfect note and stuff. So yeah, highly recommend this movie to check it out. It's on Shudder, so, you know, definitely check it out that way if you have an account. But you could also rent it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below. That's a great way to help support the show, and also come back here to leave a comment telling us what you thought about the movie.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all our latest updates.
And speaking of updates, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for future updates. We got Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own personal Letterboxd account. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.